A very good day to all of you. Today we're going to discuss on module 5, and today's discussion will be based on the programming techniques for serial communication data transfer. As we have studied in the previous video lecture series, the introduction, and you have seen a very sample and a basic program on the serial data transfers. Today's class we are going to discuss upon the way of writing the programs for serial communication. We go through an algorithm through which we are able to write programs for serial data transfers. I, Professor Prasanna Kulkarni, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of E&C from KLS VDIT Halyar, is presenting this video lecture series. Today's discussion will cover the module 5 and we'll be talking about the 43rd and 44th lecture series. The today's contents, what I'm going to cover is understanding the programs on serial communication in 8051, and thereafter we'll be focusing on doubling the baud rate concept. After learning today's video lecture series, the students will have better understanding about programs on communication and their applications in serial data transfers. The contents covered in the previous video lecture series have focused upon the basics of serial communication, the types of communications used, how do 8051 support serial data transfer through port 3, and also we have discussed a simple syntax of writing programs on serial data transfers. So with this knowledge, we can understand the content for today's lecture series. The first content what I'm going to discuss here is about what are the various steps a programmer must follow, okay, to write a program to transmit a character on TXD line. Okay, so what are various steps whenever a programmer want to write for serial data transfer? What are steps that he need to follow? So let us try to understand them one by one. The first one is about the byte character to be transmitted is written into the SBUF register. So first of all, understand what do you mean by TXD line. TXD obviously refers to transmission of data from 8051 to the outside world. Okay, so first we'll focus upon this concept wherein 8051 is already having a data. It has to send that data to outside serial device. How it is going to do this via TXD line? So what are the steps that we follow? Whatever data an 8051 you want to transmit, so first of all it must be written in SBUF register. That is the first compulsion. Then second one, the start bit is transferred first. So whenever you place a data in SBUF register, by default the data framing will occur and your 8-bit data will be appended with the start bit and stop bit. So always the first bit, which is the start bit, starts getting transferred. Okay. Third step, the 8-bit character is transferred on bit at a time. So always we talk serial transfer, the meaning is very clear. Always the transfer will happen bit at a time. Okay, so in a time you can send 1 bit of data. That's the meaning of this. Next step, the stop bit is transferred. It is during the transfer of the stop bit that 8051 raises the TI flag. So how do a controller understands that it has transferred all the 8 bits successfully? It is by a flag, and that flag is called as TI flag. Whenever the 8051 raises the TI flag, it obviously raises it when a stop bit is identified, and therefore it also means that the last character is successfully transmitted. Fifth point, by monitoring the TI flag, we make sure that we are not overloading the SBUF register. Okay, so why we monitor this? The TI flag has raised obviously means that the data has been taken from SBUF and it is sent to the outside world. If we don't monitor this, then what will happen? If we overwrite another byte into the SBUF before the TI flag is raised, obviously the untransmitted portion gets truncated. The means previous byte will be lost. So therefore our job is to see that until and unless TI flag is not raised, we should not send another data into SBUF register. That's the meaning of the fifth point. Sixth one, After SBUF is loaded with a new byte, the TI flag must be forced to 0 by instruction called clear TI in order for this new byte to be transferred. Now, what do you mean by this? Once a previous byte is successfully sent, you can load SBUF with a new byte. But important point is programmer must reset this TI flag before the transmission of next byte. What is important understanding about this now? Okay, that we'll see it in the next slide. So an important note for you based on this. By checking the TI flag bit, we know whether or not 8051 is ready to transfer the another byte. It must be clearly noted that TI flag bit is raised by 8051 itself, or it is automated when it finishes the data transfer. So rising of TI flag is going to happen automatically by 8051 controller. Programmer should not rise the TI flag. It is going to happen on its own. But it must be cleared by the programmer when the stop bit is received. So once the data is successfully sent on SBUF, then to load the next byte into that SBUF, a programmer must clear the TI flag. If we do not clear TI flag, you cannot place a next data into SBUF register. Okay, and if you clear this TI before it rises, you will lose the previous data. So this is an important note about the TI flag verification. So next, how do you verify this TI flag? What is the job? How do we verify this? Or what is the meaning of verifying this particular TI flag? Is about you can use instructions for verifying TI flag. The instruction is JNB TI comma label. So continuously you have to monitor this TI flag. When it raises, and it is going to raise on its own, then your meaning is that your data is successfully transmitted. Whatever is on SBUF has been sent outside. Then you are free to load SBUF register with the next byte. But before loading, the TI bit has to be cleared. I think everybody have understood what I mean to tell you about TI flag. Is it okay? Yes. Now let us go to the next slide. How to write program. Now we have understood the basic knowledge of this. Now next one will be focusing on how to write program to do this job. Suppose I want to receive character byte serially. So in the previous lecture series, I think you have spoken about how to transfer character bytes. So today I am focusing on how to receive character bytes serially. I want to receive a data, what to do for this one. Okay. So step number 1. TMOD register is loaded with value 20H. I think you know it is already fixed. Timer 1 in mode 2 operation to set the baud rate. Correct. Step number 2. TH1 is loaded to the required baud rate. You have to load TH1 register with a baud rate that is required for your data transfer. And the list of baud rates is already been given in the previous video series. We have done an assignment solution also for the baud rate calculations. Step number 3 is the SCON register is loaded with the value 50H, indicating we are operating in serial mode 1, where in mode 1 we have 8 bit of data and 2 start and stop bits are used. Okay, so 2 additional bits along with 8 bit data are used. Step number 4, TR1 is set to 1 to start the timer. Okay, here a timer is used for the generation of baud rate. Step number 5, RI is cleared by clear RI instruction. Okay, so you are receiving a data serially. So first thing what you have to do is RI is cleared by using instruction, that is clear RI instruction. Then once you clear this RI, then you are ready to receive a data. Unless you don't clear RI, you cannot receive data on SBUF register. Okay, then how do you monitor this? How do you monitor this? The RI flag bit is monitored with the use of the instruction JNB RI comma label. To see this, if an entire character has been received or no. Okay, to check whether the complete byte is received or not, we use RI flag. Okay, so I'll make an important statement here that TI flag is used for transmission and RI flag is used for reception. Okay, please make that difference. Please make this. TI is only used for transmission from 8051 to outside device. Now these are about receiving the data from external to 805. I hope so you have made the difference. Yes. And let us go to the step number 7. So when Ri is raised, the meaning is that when Ri becomes 1, the meaning is that data from outside has been reached to which register? Very correctly, SBUF register. So data has always moved from outside, always when it comes to 8051, where it occupies the first place is SBUF register. Okay, and from there you have to copy that content to your safe registers available in 805. Getting this one? This is how we read byte by byte from outside world. So next, to receive next character, what we should do? We should go to step number 5. That is, I have to clear my Ri once again. Only then you are allowed to receive the next data. I think everybody have understood the important steps when we write a program. How do you follow them? Okay, so based on this, shall we have a simple problem to solve on? Okay, so let us go to the problem statement to understand. Write a program for the 8051 to receive bytes of data serially. Okay, so in yesterday's example, we had a transmission. In today's video lecture series, I am taking reception. Okay, to receive bytes of data serially and put them in P1 port 1. Set the baud rate at 4800. I want this baud rate to be set. Okay, and you can use a normal mode 1 operation for serial transmission. Now how to do this particular problem? Now here the problem is only reception. Okay, so which flag I have to use? Ri. So make this point very clear. When I say transfer data, I have to use Ti. When I say receive data, I have to use Ri. Everybody have understood? The program difference is only this. Sending outside is a Ti, receiving inside is Ri. If you have understood this, we can easily write for transmission program also, we can easily write for reception program also. So let us follow the previous steps which are being given. How do we write program for this? Step number 1, tmod. Move tmod comma #20h. Job number 1 is done. I need to set a baud rate 4800. We have already done a calculation and we know how to load this. Move th1 comma #-6. Directly I have loaded decimal number directly into this program. Third step, move scon comma #50. You can observe for both programs, reception and transmission, we are doing the same lines. No difference at all. Am I right? Yes. Next, start the timer. Set B TR1. So these 4 lines, please make my words, I'll make my words very clear. These 4 lines will remain same, whether it is a reception program or it is a transmission program. Okay, so these 4 lines are fixed for sending data serially. Am I right? So I'm making your programming as easy as possible with this video lecture series. Okay, so you should not feel that the programs are very difficult, not to our level of understanding. Okay, so we are doing almost your job very simple. Next one, because it is a reception program, I should focus only on Ri flag. So how do I focus on Ri flag? That JNB Ri comma here. So my job is to check whether the Ri flag has raised or no. So when the Ri flag gets raised, when all the 8 bits are successfully received on SBUF, only then Ri is raised. So therefore, obviously my job is to check whether Ri has raised or no. Okay, until it has not raised, I should continue monitoring the Ri flag. So how it has been done? JNB Ri comma here in the same line, or you are in the infinite loop. Until Ri is not raised, this loop will not be broken. Suppose if Ri has raised to 1, what is the meaning of this? The data is available in SBUF register. Data has successfully been saved in SBUF. Before you send the next byte, because SBUF is only one register for sending data and for receiving data, I have to clear my SBUF content. Clear in the sense, move it to some safe location needed by your programmer. Wherever he wants, move it. So what is the next line I have written here? Move A comma SBUF. Then, but my program statement has told me that I have to move it to P1. So I will write it, move P1 comma A. So data is successfully taken from SBUF and it is placed in P1. Next what? I have to clear my Ri. If you don't clear this, simply if you jump back also, you cannot receive the next byte. So therefore, clear RI has to happen. Okay, understood this point? After clearing RI, yes, okay, you are free to take a next byte. How do you go for that? Short jump here. So you are going back to the same label. Again, you are verifying whether RI has raised or not. This way, you can continuously receive your serial data. Okay, has everybody understood this program? I think there are no doubts. If you have not understood, please repeat this. Try to listen to this once again. Okay, those who have understood, for them, I think now I'll go to the next slide. Okay, some important points upon this RxD line, RxD pin. Okay, important tips in receiving bits via RxD pin. 8051 goes through the following steps. Okay, so transmission happens on TXD line using TI flag. Reception happens on RxD line using RI flag. Okay, so let us have understanding about RxD pin. Reception, what will happen? It receives the start bit indicating that the next bit is the first bit of the character byte. Okay, so obviously the meaning is after start bit, whatever is going to appear is a character byte that we are interested, that is our actual data. Second important point, the 8-bit character is received 1 bit at a time. Okay, so always SBUF, okay, SBUF is a byte register, 8 bits comes on SBUF, but how do bits are occupying the positions? Always in bit by bit positions. Okay, I think everybody have understood the meaning of this. Okay, so once this has happened, okay, the stop bit when it is received, the meaning is that 8051 has received all the 8 bits, indicating that the complete byte is now available in SBUF register. Okay, by checking the RI bit flag, we know that a character has been received, and we have to copy, this is very important, and we have to copy the content present in SBUF to a safe place in some other register or memory before it is lost. That is again an important point to understand about this. Okay, after the SBUF contents are copied into a safe place, the RI flag must be forced to 0 by using an instruction called as clear RI in order to allow the next received character byte to be placed in SBUF. If you do not do this, then it may cause for the loss of the received data. You may lose one or the other bits, and whenever you say even losing a bit, obviously your program will go wrong. So that is how you should be careful when you do reception also. You should know when to clear your RI flag. That is an important point to understand about this particular important note. Okay, so I think everybody have understood. So, let us focus on this RI flag. RxD line, I think everybody have understood. Let us focus now on RI flag bits. What will happen on RI flags? By checking the RI flag bit, we know whether or not the 8051 has received a character or not. Okay, only by this flag we can make sure that the data has been received by 8051 or no. No other flags are available. Please remember this. Only RI flag will tell you whether the data is received in serial mode or not. If we fail to copy the SBUF into a safe place, if we don't write that code or program to copy the SBUF content to some register, then we risk the loss of the received byte. It must be clearly noted that RI flag bit is raised by 8051 automatically. The rising of RI flag will happen on its own, and therefore set B RI, such instructions are not available in the program. Nobody writes the set RI is a wrong statement. Only the clear RI is a must instruction once the successful data reception has occurred, and we should copy the content of SBUF into a safe place before RI flag bit is raised. This is an important note about how to take a data, when we should understand that data has been received, after receiving data what I should do. Okay, So how do you monitor this RI flag? Once again, we use the same technique what you have used for TI flag. And the technique is to monitor it continuously. Instruction use the GNB RI comma label. That is how we can clearly understand a very important difference between reception of data and transmission of data. So in serial communication, we find two type of programs, but almost they are in line with some minor differences. Transmission and reception programs, everybody should be perfect in writing these particular concepts. If you have understood, if you have not gone through this, please go through it once again. If you have understood, I will go to the next, another important concept called as doubling the baud rate. Okay, everybody have seen what are the standard baud rates available, but can we do some doubling of baud rate with existing instructions without modifying much hardware? With available software, can we double the existing baud rate? That is what we're going to see in the next concept called as doubling the baud rate. There are two ways to increase the baud rate of data transfer. Okay, what was the need of doubling the baud rate? First question is about, as we started having the improvised technology of data transmission, some devices have started working for the larger baud rate. And always the larger baud rate means to you that the next version of device will have almost double the baud rate of the previous. If I purchased a device and if I want it to make it to be compatible, definitely I need to double the baud rate to upgrade to the higher version of devices. So with available existing hardware, I don't want to modify it, but still I want to do a data transfer. Then how to do it? For that, there is one functionality available in 8051, that too in the PCON register. PCON stands for Power Control Register. This is specially meant for the available changes to be made to increase the baud rate functions. Okay, today we'll be seeing even the structure of this PCON register. So let us understand. Now, what are the ways of increasing the baud rate of data transfer? One thing, use higher frequency crystal. That's the first choice. Okay, means I have to replace the crystal frequency itself. I have to double the crystal frequency. Obviously, doubling the crystal frequency obviously will double your baud rate. That is for sure. Okay. The second option available, okay, through software means. The earlier one is hardware means. Second one is using a software mean. How to increase the baud rate, how to double existing baud rate is by changing a particular bit in the PCON register. Okay. Now, what is PCON register is about? PCON register is a SFR. It is an 8-bit register, and when 8051 is powered up, the particular bit called as SMOD, the bit available in PCON is called SMOD, is default as 0. If you set it to logic 1, okay, if I set that particular bit to logic 1, by some software instruction, the baud rate gets doubled. Means what? Even though you load the same value, your baud rate will be taken as a doubled baud rate. Okay. To understand this statement, let us go to one diagram in my next slide of presentation. Okay. First, we will focus on the structure of this PCON register. Okay. So you can observe that there is a PCON register having 8 bits. 3 bits are unused, but our point of interest is the last bit called as SMOD. Okay. Everybody can see this SMOD. By default, this SMOD bit will be 0. So whenever SMOD bit is 0, by default your baud rates will be as indicated in the table. You can observe in the given in the slide that when a TH1 is loaded with -3, or in hexadecimal it is FD, when SMOD is 0, the baud rate we achieve is 9600. For -6 it is 4800, for -12 it is 2400, and for -24 it is 1200 baud rate. But when this particular bit is made 1, if SMOD is 1, you can see the adjacent column. For SMOD equal to 1, even though you are loading -3, now your baud rate will be 19200. For -6, 9600. For -12, 4800, and for -24, it is 2400. So check for SMOD column 0, SMOD column 1. You are getting a doubled baud rate. Then how it is achieved? How it is achieved? That is explained in the slide as it is. The crystal frequency is 11.0592 and we divide it by 12 to achieve the machine cycle frequency is equal to 921.6 kilohertz. When S mod is 0, we divide that machine cycle frequency by 32. We divide it by 32. 28,800 Hertz is the frequency used for timer 1 to set baud rate. This is what you have discussed. But if you want to increase your baud rate due to some device upgradation, then we have to make S mod bit to become 1. Then it will be divided by 16. So when your denominator is divided by 16, obviously you can see that frequency gets doubled. So instead of having 28,800 as a serial communication frequency, we get now 57,600 Hertz as a frequency for your serial data transfer. And that will give the facility to increase or to double the existing baud rate. This is available in the hardware to double the baud rates without any increase or changeover made in the existing architecture of 8051. This is an important concept. In examination also many times they have asked, how do we increase or how do we double the baud rates in serial communication? We have to draw all this. We have to tell the way available to double them. Then the structure of this SMOD register with a program also. How do we increase this? The program is also explained in the slide. How do we do this? Move A, PICON. Okay, move A, PICON. Set B, ACC.7. Then move PICON, A. You can see these three lines are important line. Without these three lines, we cannot double the baud rate. So why we did this? Why did we copy to accumulator? Because PICON register is not a bit addressable register. That is the reason why we cannot directly change a bit in a register. But the same thing can be done by copying the entire 8 bytes to accumulator. I will copy it to accumulator and accumulator is bit addressable. Therefore, what I will do? I will set a particular bit without modifying the remaining bits. I will not change them. Okay, I should not do this. Only I am interested in to make that bit 7 as 1. So how do I do this? Set B ACC.7. This will set my SMOD bit. Again, we should copy that to PICON register. Don't forget this. Only by setting accumulator content, PICON bit will not become 1. You have to copy that content back into PICON register. I think everybody have now understood how do we increase the baud rate by using a software means of doing this. I hope so that everybody have understood this particular slide. If you have not understood, please go through this, try to understand this once again. Okay. Now, based on this, let us have a problem to understand. If you have understood this problem, means you have understood the concept of doubling the baud rate. Okay. Suppose I want to do this particular job. Assume that my crystal is 11.0592 megahertz for the following problem. First one, what I have to do? First requirement is what this program does. Tell me what this program is going to do for us, first of all. Okay. Second one, compute the frequency used by timer 1 to set the baud rate. Compute the frequency used by timer 1 to set the baud rate. Third one, find the baud rate of the data transfer. Suppose I want to do this, then what is the solution for this one? Okay, what is the baud rate? Move A, PICON. So previously what I did, I have inserted the same lines in my program. Okay, ACC.7, move PICON, A. What do you mean by this? Ultimately, whatever you load, your baud rate will be double than this. That's the meaning of this one, first 3 lines. Okay, I am making your programming concepts very simple as possible. Okay, next one, whatever you write, same programs, let us write them as it is. Don't panic. Whatever you know, write a program for this. What? First one, move tmod, #20. I know this. Move th1, -3. I did move th1, -3. What is the meaning of this? What is my baud rate? Yeah, not 9,600. Not 9,600. What is my baud rate? 19,200 is my baud rate because I have doubled my baud rate. Have you understood this now? Okay. Move scon, #50h. Okay, normal procedure for us. Start the timer. Set B TR1. Right. Move A, under double quote I have written B. It is transfer of ASCII character. It is not B register. It is a transfer of ASCII character. ASCII character here is capital B. That is what my job is. I want to do this. I have moved it to accumulator first. Okay. Then I have made sure that my TI is 0 by making instruction clear TI. I have made my clear TI is very much clear that it is 0. Okay. Then move this content to SBUF register. From accumulator, I move that content to SBUF. Now I will monitor. Once your data is placed in SBUF, obviously it means that it is ready for sending. Then how do you monitor this? By using TI flag. GNB TI, H underscore 1 is a label. That label has been put there. Next, once the data is successfully transmitted, GNB rises to 1. The meaning is that data is successfully sent outside. What is the next one? I should do it again. I should keep on sending this. So short jump A, underscore 1. Go back to the label, clear the TI, and move the same content back to SBUF. So continuously you are sending letter B. So first answer to this problem is that you are continuously sending the letter B to the outside device, serial device. Okay. So tell me now, what is the frequency used by timer 1 to set this board? What is the frequency that I am using? Yes, 57,600 Hertz is the frequency used to transfer this data. Have you all understood this one? Okay, right. Next one. Find the baud rate of the data transfer. Now, what is the baud rate that I'm using here is 19,200 is a baud rate used for my data transfer. So, we are able to answer to all the available questions in the problem. I think everybody have understood. Okay. So with this, I think everybody have now understood about serial data transfers using assembly level programs. So I have focused today on transmission of data and on reception of data. And another important concept was how to double the baud rates. Okay. And this doubling the baud rate is applicable to both transfer as well as for reception. Okay. So while receiving also, if you want to increase the baud rate, it can be done. While data sending outside also, if you want to increase the baud rate, this can be done. So doubling the baud rate is applicable for both transmission as well as for reception. I think with this, everybody have understood now what do you mean by communication, what are important steps that I need to follow. And with this, I say that please do keep studying. Don't leave your basics. Try to upgrade your basics because examinations may be announced and you people have to be ready. And I wish you, please do take care of your health and also your family. And I thank you for attending to this video lecture series. Thank you one and all.